film with friends, missing VHS videotape repeating.
Welcome back, fam, crew, creeples, and peoples. Today we're looking at a very, very obscure, not well known, poorly received, and box office bomb called Jaws. Now I know you've probably never heard of this one. From what I know of it, it's some unknown director. It was not based on a book, and it made like $10 in theaters. No one ever saw it. But when they made it, though, supposedly it was one of the easiest shoots ever. Like, they got in, they filmed it all, everything worked. The mechanical shark worked perfectly. They did it in like a couple days. That's what I understand. Okay, but seriously, 1975, directed by Steven Spielberg, based on the novel by Peter Benchley. Screenplay, Peter Benchley, Carl Gottlieb, with a few touch-ups by other people, you know, about the Indianapolis speech, depending on who you talk to. This is a 1991 Universal release of the VHS, obviously originally 1975. This is a tape that my friend at Bose, Jonathan, picked up for me in one of his hauls when he goes out thrifting. The original one I have, I want to say the original one that I owned when I was a teenager on VHS was, I don't know if it was a two-tape, it might have been a two-tape set that had like the kind of the foil hologram stuff around the edge, and it was widescreen. It definitely would have been widescreen, I believe. I'd have to dig it out of storage. Eventually we'll see it on this channel. One of my sort of predecessors and mentors in the theater business, a guy named Mike, this was his favorite movie. Jaws everything. Jaws, Jaws, Jaws. He saw Jaws in theaters literally hundreds of times. He's written a book on Jaws 2, which I mentioned in the acknowledgments at the beginning. He used to correspond with Roy Scheider. I mean, he owns a huge collection of Jaws memorabilia. Actually, there's a documentary years ago called The Shark is Still Working. And at one point I had like a copy of the original full-length version of the documentary that he was in. And then it got edited down to a shorter version, and then like his section was removed. But I still think there's a still frame image of him sitting in his room with this huge Jaws collection. I mean, he has like the CEDs, the Laserdiscs, all the books, all the VHSs. He's got everything signed. He's got just anything imaginable. Like what I was for Halloween, he is for Jaws. Nevertheless, of course, this movie is fantastic. It's kind of like a pirate movie more than anything else. It's not really a horror movie, although it's pretty freaky. 2 hours, 4 minutes, rated PG. This home video version, some music rescored. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, because if you don't know what Jaws is about, then I can't help you. This is one that for the longest time, when I was working on one of my last film jobs, every year around July 4th, we would show Jaws on 35mm. And usually, people before me, they do like one show on 35mm, and then the rest they do digitally. But I was like, you know, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So I'd always do all Jaws shows on 35mm. So I think I did 4 nights in a row of Jaws. I can still tell you where every single changeover between reels is on this movie, because I did it so many times. It held the record for the longest time of 35mm screenings with like 8. And then this movie called, Too Late, which was a newer movie shot on 35mm and only presented on 35mm, I think tied it or maybe beat it with 7 or 8. But then Dunkirk came out in 2017, and not every single screening, but I think I ended up doing 21 showings of Dunkirk on 35mm. And this is reel-to-reel presentations, where I had to load each reel individually and then switch between reel 1 to reel 2. It wasn't, building up the print, let it run. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, but for the longest time, this was the number one screened print from 35mm at my old theater. Definitely between 2014, 15, 16. I think that's when Too Late came out. It was 2016, so it kind of got iffy. And then definitely 2017 with Dunkirk, could beat out Jaws. Nevertheless, fantastic movie. Jaws 2 is great. Jaws 3 is fun. I think there's a Jaws 4. We won't talk about it, though. But yeah, obviously a staple, one of the biggest films of all time, based on the fact that it sort of created the blockbuster, the summer blockbuster. Great documentaries about it, great books about it. As always, let me know your stories below about Jaws. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some of the trailers, and I will see you guys in the next one.